Are you ready?
Ready.
Ready. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge. Go through one set of lights. Pull a Yui. Look for the music store with the red neon light. That's us. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Come on, be on the show with me. Have your own show. Dave will tell you how at the end of all of this, but we are here. I'm John Peckman. This is Barb Wiggin is here.
I'm here.
You're here, finally. Yes. This was a thing. It's a thing. You may remember, I mean, she's not just Jay Wiggins' wife, but you are also Jay Wiggins' wife. If you remember Jay Wiggin, my bass player friend, who's been on the show. This is Barb. I'm not going to say his other half because that's, nobody's half of anything. But Barb Wiggin is
right.
a violist. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Violist. Okay. Plays the viola.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
Hey, why not? All right, so
I've been waiting for this invite.
have you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would have invited you a long time ago.
Well, why not? I
Yeah.
mean, all my friends are doing it.
Hey, would you jump off the Brooklyn Bridge? We're all jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge.
If it's warm enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So currently doing what viola-wise?
Actually, currently, I am not doing anything viola-wise.
Okay.
I've turned to the dark side, and I'm playing violin.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Okay, all right. We got to get to the bottom of
Yeah.
that. All right. We'll have to figure that all out. Okay.
Yep.
For the uninitiated, including myself, could you explain viola, violin?
Okay. Violin, I think everybody's familiar with.
Sure.
Viola is very similar. It's a little bigger.
Okay.
It's got a lower string, so it plays inner voice, mostly harmony,
Okay.
supportive role,
Gotcha.
and
So almost alto in a way.
it's absolutely alto.
Soprano, it would be.
Yep. Well, actually, no, it's tenor.
Okay, but relatively, it's number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
In size,
Kinda?
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, like violin, viola,
Cello,
cello,
bass.
bass.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yep.
That's cool. Why?
Why viola?
Yeah.
Well, I was in 5th grade,
Mm-hmm.
took the music hearing test, wanted to sign up to play violin, actually, because, I don't know, most kids don't even know what a viola is.
Right, right. You just
Unless
go,
you've
"That
been
thing."
exposed to it somehow, you really don't know that exists. It
Sure.
exists. So,
Yeah, it all looks like a violin to
yeah, it does. You
anybody.
hold it the same,
Sure.
everything. So I was going through to get my instrument, and the orchestra director gave me a viola. He's like, "Well, would you play viola?" I'm like, "Well, do you hold it the same as violin?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
What's the difference?
Did he need a viola player?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he needed somebody that wouldn't be tempted to play the melody. So based on the hearing test,
Oh, wow.
he knew that I would play the
you
notes
had
on
more
the
of
page.
an ear for harmony, or just you would play the notes on the
Yeah,
page?
I guess I scored high on the hearing test.
Wow.
So he steered me in that direction.
Do you think that was the right thing?
Yeah,
Hey, well, that's cool.
yeah,
So it worked.
it worked. I love viola.
Wow.
I love it.
So the hearing test, I don't know if I ever had one of those.
It's just the pitches, the electronic pitches, high, low.
Uh-huh.
Wearing headphones kind
Yep.
of thing.
And
So
then-
I don't know what, how he determined, but
Wow.
that was his thing. He went around at the beginning of the year. And
Wow.
all the classrooms.
I wonder how bad your hearing would have to be to become a drummer. When they're like, I can't identify any pitches at all. You're a drummer. Perfect.
Maybe. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
So I started on viola. I stayed on viola.
Wow.
And loved it. Love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the parts are different.
Yes. Yep.
So do you ever solo? Are there viola?
I've done 3 solos with the Eastern Connecticut Symphony Orchestra where I was sitting principal. They would, feature members of the orchestra. Basically, the principal players would get the opportunity.
Yep.
So that happened 3 times
Hey.
for me, which was awesome. It was not, a goal of mine to
Yeah, right.
play a solo.
You're like, now's my time.
But when I was asked, I was like, hell yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
Why not?
Is there a limited repertoire of viola solo?
Well, compared to violin, absolutely.
Right.
But there's more and more. The early stuff, it's non-existent practically. There's a lot of transcriptions.
I got you.
But 20th century
Started writing for.
Yeah.
Wow.
But of course, they're all contemporary. It's not like I get to play Tchaikovsky on viola.
Right.
Or Brahms. I mean, he wrote 2 sonatas, but...
Sure. But you're saying people, they probably exist, but...
Yeah, and back, it's only been since about the late 19th, early 20th century where viola was actually looked at as a possible solo instrument. It's mainly violin, cello, virtuosos.
But it doesn't require less technique or facility.
No.
It's just in the idea of it's a supportive instrument.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So people are
And I mean, there's this joke about, violists are people that can't play the violin.
But that's not true.
That's not true.
How could it be true?
It's not. It's certainly not true anymore. I mean, the people I've encountered in the last 10, 15 years are freaking amazing.
Well, why would it be? Yeah. Why? I mean, unless you're the soloist, the part is the part, right? It's how difficult the piece is to play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, the viola, you're not playing whole notes. If you're playing...
Well, a lot of early music, yeah, you are.
Okay.
A lot of...
So then the joke is true.
It is. It actually is. There's a reason.
Well,
But it's evolved,
Yeah,
Things
right,
have evolved.
right.
And, I mean, but, Beethoven was writing pretty challenging stuff for the violas.
Okay.
And Mozart was a violist.
Oh, okay.
Also.
I didn't know that.
So...
All right.
It's just that the virtuosity was given to the violins.
Okay. Just because I
Well-
wonder why.
Because it's easier to play that kind of stuff on violin. It's a lighter,
Oh, I see.
faster instrument
I see.
inherently.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Do you hate violinists? Are they like the lead singer of the band?
they are.
Yeah, right. The divas.
They're the ones that when you take break at orchestra, they start playing their concertos.
Yeah.
And it's like, shut up.
Yeah. And don't they realize it's just easier because it's smaller, that it's no big deal, that you're onto them? It's like, well, big deal. You have a smaller...
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But,
Is that a thing? It's got to be a thing, right?
what?
Like...
Violinists versus violists?
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, the
How could it not
stereotypes
be?
are true. Completely true.
Do cellos get more cred
They do.
in some kind of way?
Yeah. I mean, the viola's always been the redheaded stepchild. It's
But you
like,
you don't care.
No. You know what? When I was, you get sick of the viola jokes. You've heard them all. If you've heard one, you've heard them all.
I
And you've
guess.
heard them a million times.
How'd you like to be a drummer?
Well, that
I've
too.
heard all
like
those
the
things.
other night when Jeff said, what's the difference between a violin and a viola, and it burns longer. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh
right.
my God,
Yeah,
can
right.
you
Yeah. I know.
originality, please?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's So I
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, I was just like, well, you know what? I'm not going to be that kind of violist. I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to, I'm going to prove you wrong. I can play,
Right.
and I can play more than just half notes and whole notes.
Yeah, right.
So
Right. Well, I'm trying to think of how to. Well, but you're okay with it.
yeah,
You ended up being okay. So you feel that it suited you.
yeah,
So in a way, more of an accompanist mindset, slightly, or more of a supporting.
yeah. It's a supportive role. It's like
Right.
providing the cool harmonies that support the melody,
Right. And you're okay.
and the melody would be nothing without us.
Right. Well, no, it's true.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like as a drummer, like I feel like I'm a born accompanist. That's my thing. That's my nature. So I'm just like, okay, I don't mind. I
Yeah.
don't like, I don't need drum solos. So that's cool. At least you found your thing,
yeah,
you know? So I guess that was the right choice.
yeah, oh yeah.
You would have played violin, but you don't have the diva temperament. So you probably wouldn't have been able to claw your way to the right?
I would not have probably fit in that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, good. It all worked out.
Yeah.
But you said earlier that you crossed over.
I did cross
What's
over.
that all about?
Well, that's all about occupational, like, just it took a toll on my body. It's a heavy instrument.
The viola?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a heavy instrument, and when we were shut out of playing, and so I wasn't playing really, and when things started looking like they might start up again.
You mean pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, all right, well, let's see what happens. I don't
Sure.
know. I was already getting tired of the grind, of the driving, of the schedule. The kids were getting older.
Yep.
Social expectations for them were changing.
Sure.
Where, you're responsible for helping them with that because they can't drive themselves anywhere.
Sure.
And
that's all different now, of course. At least
yeah,
for one of them.
Yeah, for one of them at least. But so I did a wedding, probably summer of 2021, and it was a wedding ceremony and a cocktail hour, so it was a solid hour of playing. And I got home and my neck was on fire.
Oh.
I've also had a couple of car accidents with whiplash, and I also have degenerative discs happening in my neck.
Oh boy.
So after that, I was like, well, what it was going to take for me to get back into shape on the viola, to play in Hartford, to play in New Haven, to sit principal, to play everywhere I was playing.
To drive in the car, to sit in the car.
Right. To
that.
just be able to do my job well, like I, wanted to. I didn't have the energy.
Wow.
I was like, no, I can't do it. It's going to hurt.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
I
hate
took
to
some-
say, but we are getting older too.
Well, yeah. Well, sure, that plays into it. So I took time off, and I was like, well, who's got to play? I don't have to play. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
I resigned. I retired, and I felt good about, well, I left while I was on top.
Right.
That's a good place to be when you decide to leave. And I focused on, the kids being in high school and doing all that stuff at home and mom, and then I started missing it. And I was like, well, what the heck am I going to do? So I took out my gig violin that I bought, 25 years ago just to teach.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a lot of violin students, and they would get confused if I demonstrated on viola.
Right.
So I never, I played that thing outside all the time. I threw it in the closet. I threw it in the basement.
Sure.
I never had it adjusted, never had it, maintained.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I took it out, and I was like, well, I'm going to start playing violin. So one of my friends contracts out a lot of weddings. So she started hiring me on violin for weddings.
And it's easier.
It's easier. It doesn't hurt.
Wow.
It's like a toy.
Really? See, I
Compared
don't
to
know
my
the difference.
viola, it's like a toy.
Wow. Hey, that's kind of cool.
It is.
So
it's like the same, but a whole different world has opened up.
Okay. So here's the most important question: do you now look down on violists? Are you like, oh,
Never.
Can you imagine?
Never.
Like, are you feeling yourself?
No,
you're
I would
becoming-
never.
Can
No,
you imagine?
because I lived,
That's funny.
I had a 30-year career on viola.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. How much heavier, smaller? Just the
It's heavier. It's heavier at the bottom.
Okay.
And then
So there's so it's tugging.
yeah, so you support the instrument with your neck and shoulder. Your shoulder and your
I got you.
and your chin.
So that weight.
And so you have to be able to hold the instrument without holding onto the instrument with your hands. So it's all coming from here. So doing that, it was...
Did that contribute to your degenerating discs?
Oh, sure.
Is that an occupational?
Hazard? Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Wow.
Back problems? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to that point. So it wasn't like unheard of. It's just like, oh, here it is.
No, I mean, I think the degenerative disc thing happened because of the car accidents.
Right.
Mainly, but
It did.
what
and
I
then
was
that didn't
doing
help, and then
in
that doesn't
addition
help.
did not,
Gotcha.
didn't help.
Whoa. Well, That's kind of cool, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're back in it.
I am.
You know, it couldn't have been that much of an adjustment. I mean,
No. I mean, no. The biggest adjustment is
like you're adjusting, like you're not learning a new.
No, I'm not having to relearn.
Right.
I just have to like not go into the wrong clef while I'm playing.
It's a different clef.
It's a different clef. Yeah, viola has its own clef.
It has its own clef, so not treble, not bass.
It's the alto clef.
I didn't even know an alto clef existed.
But we also play in treble clef, but it's completely different playing treble clef on viola than it is on violin.
Meaning it looks different?
No, it's on the instrument differently.
Oh, wow. So viola has to like switch it?
So we switch all the time.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like treble clef is a continuation of alto clef. It happens when you get higher up.
And you still get no respect. They don't know,
I know
what you're
right?
managing, that you're managing all this.
Nope, nobody has any idea.
Wow.
So
they do now.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning I was worried about being on a gig and going into the wrong clef, which means I'm completely playing like wrong notes.
Yeah, yeah.
But that didn't happen.
No.
Because wedding music is easy to play.
Right?
It's not like, scary.
Right.
But then also, like, I found I actually have to lighten up with my bow. Because if I press too hard like you need to on viola, the strings are thicker.
Oh.
To get everything. Then I was actually squashing the sound on the violin.
Oh, wow.
So it's like everything is...
Yeah, lighter.
Lighter.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Wow.
Well, why would you? You're a drummer.
Right. Yeah. I'm lucky I think of anything. Beyond the count of 4, I'm out. Yeah. Wow, that's kind of cool. So, but you're kind of getting back at it on the violin.
Yeah,
and like
you know
say,
what?
so, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was going to say, so wedding repertoire, I'm sure a player of your caliber is like me in a cover band. It's like, yeah, Mustang Sally. I mean, it's got to be the...
Yeah, Pachelbel Cannon.
Right? How many things?
The cellist is more dragged about that piece than any of us.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, because they play 8 notes over and over.
Oh, I see. I don't need,
bass line, yeah.
That's funny. So you're like, all right, so you're kind of, I could do these gigs on the violin, no problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you ever see yourself re-entering the scene again?
Like orchestra?
Yeah.
No.
So you're done with that?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
So you're just going to now you're just going to cash in playing weddings.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, or whatever else. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually did do, a friend of mine does Nutmeg Symphony, which is around Bristol area, and it's, it's not a well-paying gig. I'll just put it that way.
Sure.
And, but I was like, well, okay, let me see what it's like on violin. And I'm thinking, he knows my situation, so I'm like, just put me in the back.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I can be in the back. I don't mind. I show up, I'm up front.
Oh, boy.
There's only 4 second violins, and I'm up front. I'm not principal, but I'm up front. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Well, one of the pieces we did was Bach double, which is 2 violin solos. So the concertmaster and then the principal second violin got up to play the solo. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, just like what I didn't want. I mean, it was fine, but also, my having to share a stand with somebody when your eyesight is crappy, even though you have music glasses, lighting messes with it. And
wow.
It was terrifying on violin because I don't have the muscle memory for all that. If I were on viola, like, fine.
Right.
It's like I've played some of those pieces on viola so much. I know the part.
Sure.
I know where it's going.
Sure,
I know what to expect. But on violin, I was like, oh, no.
And plus the clef thing. And
it was
just
frightening.
Too much to think of.
I was terrified. I was like, I'm never doing this again. Never.
Well, if you don't have to.
And, like, I loved being in orchestra. I loved it. But after 30 years, and even longer, because as a violist, that's all I ever did, starting in 5th grade.
Wow.
I played in orchestra.
So you might have just reached the natural end anyway.
Yeah. I think I got to the point where it was like, well, I've played a lot of rep, and they keep repeating the same rep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how many times?
Mustang Sally.
Yeah, how many times do I have to play Beethoven 5?
Right.
Or how many more times do I have to play Beethoven 9, which is a beast of a piece? You know,
Is
it's
it?
like sitting through that and playing through that. It's hard work.
Yeah.
So it's not just ode to joy.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I mean, I think I just definitely got to the end of the road with that, and it served me well. I loved every minute of it, but
Well, I hate to say it, and I'm not one to put a positive spin on things, but you got to wonder, if there were no pandemic, would you still be toughing it out and destroying yourself?
probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we didn't know any better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you would just say, oh, well,
because it's
I'm
all
going to
I've
become
known.
miserable
Like,
and just go down with the ship.
I gotta do it. I gotta go to do the grind, but actually I don't.
Yeah, well, good.
So
Good.
yeah, I'm not.
That's cool.
Give someone else a chance. It's
Well-
like there are so many hotshot players out there right now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why?
I
What's
think
different?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
YouTube. You can go onto YouTube and watch frickin' Yehudi Menuhin play.
Okay.
You can watch master classes from
So people just get more generally interested.
and I think that you can learn a lot. When I was in grad school, I had to go to the listening library and the card catalog, and you could never find classical CDs at the music store. It was work.
Wow.
But now
I see.
everything is right there. You have
I see.
tutorials, you have lessons, you have master classes, you have. Just the other day, I have some students now, and I'm actually going up to the Woodstock Academy, and I've got some high school kids, and I was like, I feel like this one student of mine really needs to do a Mozart concerto. But I mean, I know them, but on a very surface level. But I have to be able to teach her bowings and fingerings.
Sure.
So I'm like, well, I'll just go on YouTube. So I go on YouTube and I find Hilary Hahn, who is amazing.
Okay.
Clear, beautiful sound.
Yeah.
Like, just great. I'm like watching her bow. I'm like, but it's too fast. Well, I can just slow it down. I slow it down and I can get bowings. I can get fingerings, provided like the camera's on her.
Yeah, right.
Or whoever it is. But anybody, everybody's on there.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's made a huge difference.
Okay.
People can see what they can do, and then they can actually learn
Wow.
about it.
So we would just guess, and only people who
Or find a teacher, or,
right,
Right.
and then just work your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe go down the wrong road. You're getting further away from it because you don't have the right. Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, it's a completely different
Wow.
way of getting information
Yeah.
right now. And
I wonder if it's going to move. You think it'll start moving instruments forward now? You start to think like if people, because you're thinking like you had to take such a long, crazy path to get proficient to crack the code.
I think it already has. And it's funny because I just came across this guy who everybody should look him up. He is definitely breaking barriers and boundaries with playing violin. His name is Roman Kim.
Okay.
And he does, what I've seen is he does a solo arrangement that he's arranged of Ina Kleiner Knock music, which is a quartet.
Oh boy.
But he plays all the parts, and they're clear as a bell. And then, he did the same thing with Beethoven 5, which is orchestra.
Yeah, right.
And it's like
right.
each string has an assignment. Like the G string is the brass, the
Wow.
D string is the wind.
So he's arranging it too.
And he's incredible. And you know what else he does? Flip me out. He does pizzicato with his mouth, with his teeth. He's crazy, but he's so good. It's so good. It's like already
Yeah. Well,
like
there you go.
somebody that's already
Right.
the next Paganini.
Yeah.
Like reinventing.
Well, maybe he
and
sold
innovative.
his soul. Maybe he sold his soul to the devil, like Paganini.
Maybe
they
it is
say.
Paganini, right?
Yeah, could be.
Come back to say, look, you can do more.
Wow. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's very cool
interesting.
to see because, you feel like you get to a point where there's a limit. Well, this has been done. That's been done.
Sure.
What else could you do?
Sure.
Oh, I know.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Let me pits with my teeth.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
But it's good. It's so good.
Right?
He's so good.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I do that all the time. I YouTube home repairs. Now
Yes,
we got
that
the house.
happens in my household as well.
And
yeah.
for me, because I'm not very handy, and I don't mean anything by this, it's my speed. I watch women do it because I'm not good. They just go, okay, girls, we're going to change it. And I'm like, okay, I'm right there with you. And then I just learn. I'm almost ready to start watching boys do it. But, like, that's cool. Yeah, things that
There you go.
I wouldn't do before. Yeah, that's interesting. So take us back to how the journey, so there you are, you're like, I don't even know if this is a violin or not, but here I am doing
Right.
it. How quick did it happen? What happened?
How quick did it happen?
Like, did you realize that, like, I actually want to do this beyond just...
That was probably like sophomore year, junior year or something. My social life was dependent on, oh, well, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I wanted to try other things. So I was like, well, they were like, my parents were like, you can't do that because you got youth orchestra, you do this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, fine, I'll just quit.
Oh, boy.
And later that night, I'm like up in my room and I'm like, I start bawling. I'm like, I can't quit.
Yeah, what am I? I'm
So it was that
go play
point
volleyball now or
where
something?
I knew I wanted to do it as a career.
Wow.
So then I went and did 4 years at West Virginia University for, I got a bachelor's in music performance,
Oh, wow.
viola performance. And then,
Now, did your parents play?
no,
Wow. So
No.
you're like the only one
yeah,
that kind of got into this thing?
yeah.
Wow. Were you, at that time, it sounds like you excelled.
I got by on natural talent for a long time.
Yep.
And then that sort of like when I got to undergrad, I decided to practice, but it was really not good practice. I would cram. It was
Sure.
more like cramming for my
Sure.
recitals and the jury exams.
Yep.
And even then, I still didn't really practice. It wasn't until I got to UConn for graduate work that my chamber music coach said to me one day after our coaching, she pulled me aside. She's like, you know what? You're really good, but your bow arm sucks. I was like,
Wow.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, or I
I mean,
wouldn't
I didn't
be
say
here.
that to
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
like, really? And so I went and asked my teacher, and she's like, well, it could use some work.
Wow.
So I was like, great. That's when I started practicing,
Okay.
like hardcore practicing,
yeah.
like actually practicing everything I was told to practice.
Wow. How
for-
hard was it? Tear down your technique?
Oh, that's never fun.
Yeah, no.
That's never fun.
I never do that.
No, I had to fix my vibrato and I had to fix my bow hold a few times.
Wow.
But like once I got it, I was in a groove.
Yeah.
Then it felt pretty good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So natural ability, you just kind of discovered it. Didn't know, like wonder where it came from.
No.
You enjoyed the music enough
Yeah.
to be like, okay, I'm going to do this.
And the instrument.
Yeah.
The instrument was easy for me.
Wow.
It's not, violin and viola, any of the string instruments. I mean, there are very few instruments that are actually easy.
Yeah.
But, there are very awkward things about unnatural
Yeah.
positions that you have to hold your body in and, but it came naturally to me.
Wow.
So,
I guess we'll never know. You never know
Yeah.
about these things.
unless you try, you just got to try.
Right. Did you try anything else?
Seriously? No.
You just were like,
No.
this is my thing.
Yeah. I didn't really have any interest
Yeah.
in anything else.
Yeah.
I played around on the piano, but not
Yeah. But you just were like, this
my
is...
hands are too small. I couldn't I couldn't even get an octave on the piano, so
Yeah, right.
I could kind of play it, and I had to take a piano class.
Yeah. But
For
you're like, this isn't for me.
yeah, it was just part of my requirements, and I passed. But
Do you feel now that because there's no way the teacher could have known, are you physically suited for the viola, you think, in the end?
no,
Except for...
no, I'm not. It's a huge instrument, and so when you hit full size on a violin, that's it.
Okay,
It's a certain measurement.
I gotcha.
When you hit full size on a viola, then you can go from 15 inches to 17 inch
Oh.
string length. And the longer the string length, the better the sound, because it needs a bigger body to vibrate the thicker strings and have a nice full sound.
Yeah.
So I always had to play a small viola. I couldn't play a big viola.
Oh.
And even the small viola, like I could never play more than an octave. Some people can play tenths, where you're fingering one, and so, and I also had to adjust. Like I usually did different fingerings, or I would opt for a string crossing.
And you can do that if that's allowed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the thing.
I mean, at
But
a
it's not
certain
like
point
it's not
when
like
I'm
drumline where it has to be in unison. It just get there. You get there however you need to get there.
I mean, sometimes there are specific fingerings in a section where you stay on the same string, so you get the sound of one.
Yeah.
You get the sound of one. But like most of the time, I'm going to do what I have to do to play it.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't want to hurt myself by trying to stretch my fingers like other people can.
Yeah. If you had to do it all over again, what would you have played viola after all? It's kind of a bizarre question. I just wonder,
Like if he had never steered me in that direction?
I guess. Well, I'm just saying, like
if he'd given me a violin, would I have switched to viola? Probably not.
Right. Well, yeah. But explain when you say principal player to people that don't know. Like, what does that mean?
That means you're the first chair of the section. So sometimes you have 10 people in a section, 8. 10 is ideal. 8 people.
Okay.
And, we're all playing the same part, except if it splits, and then there are rules about that. But being on the first stand, which is the one right up in front, and the principal player, you are in charge of how things are bowed. You are in charge of leading. So, the further you go back, the harder it is to see the conductor. So it's like a chain of command. Like, so I have to be leading in such a way that the stand behind me can follow me, and then the stand behind them follows that stand. And
in what way? When you say leading, you mean with your body?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Huh.
No, I mean, it's not like you're thrashing on stage, let's say,
So
just
you're helping
Yeah.
You're helping to keep it in the pocket or whatever.
So I have to be right with the conductor.
Wow.
I also get all the crap if I'm not. If something happens in the section, I get get talked to.
Right. So the other players, they have one eye on the conductor and one eye on you.
Yeah, peripherally most of the time,
But you're only watching the conductor. That's you.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
And actually the concertmaster.
Explain the difference.
Concertmaster is the first chair of the first violin section, and that's the guy that tunes the orchestra. Oh God.
Don't.
12-inch viola.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, 12-inch?
What's that mean?
14.
That means that it's not in tune.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That means it's just the pegs are out. Same with this one.
Oh.
This one's pretty though. Yeah, so the concertmaster is the lead guy, and he's in charge, of basically all the strings.
Wow.
But he's the one that, comes out at the beginning and tunes everybody.
Okay.
And he plays all the violin solos that are within the piece. Same with any principal. If there's a solo marked, then I had to play it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you make your way? So it works like you work your way up to principal.
You have to audition for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes up, you're just like, I'm gunning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
And I won.
Did you cut anybody? Like, is someone that has the chair and you?
Oh no, it's usually vacated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
no,
right,
it's
all right.
not.
So it's not that crazy.
No, it's not like that. No, the position has to be
Imagine.
open in order for them to advertise and even.
Did you bag it the first time? Were you ready? Like, when the first time you ever auditioned, did you get it?
Well, yeah. There's only one. So the audition process is you advertise. People send resumes. You get invited.
Okay, so hold on.
So
what I meant was, were you in the not principal but in the section?
Oh yeah, I'd been in the
and
section,
you bump up.
and then I won this. Yeah, I moved up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you? That was exciting. You must have
Yeah.
been like.
Oh yeah, I was stoked.
So that's the goal.
For some people,
Yeah.
yeah. For others, they'd rather stay in the middle or the back.
And did you aspire to that?
In that orchestra, yeah, I wanted to sit up front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it was one of the first gigs I'd ever gotten, and it was it was one of those orchestras that went from a community group to a professional group. So you had a lot of people that were there before people got paid. They were volunteering.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you don't always get the strongest players.
Sure.
And so I wanted to get out of the middle of that.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to be more. But now, enough time has gone by that it is an audition group. You have to, just to be in the section, you have to audition.
Because it's...
And you have to pass the audition.
Right. So it's not...
Because now you're getting paid.
Quite right. So it's not quite like it used to be.
And it's a union gig now, too.
Wow.
It wasn't when I first started.
And your ascent
there
was timed. You were right there when it became pro. You landed.
It was already, well, it was like semi-pro.
Yeah.
But you still had a lot of people carried over from the volunteer days.
Yeah.
And you can't just kick them out.
Sure.
You if they want to stay, you include them.
Right.
You can't. Yeah.
When your time came, were you ready, or more than ready, or less than ready?
For the principal spot?
Yeah.
Oh, I was more than ready.
So I
was ready.
So you were just like, I got this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't daunting. You were just
it's auditions are awful. They're always daunting.
Okay.
But I felt confident.
That's
I was
cool.
pretty, and actually what happened was, with this orchestra, it's all the way in New London. So, there's like nothing over on that side of the state for a lot of orchestra work. And so a lot of people that would come from like Hart School of Music or Yale, that's an hour.
Yeah.
And it's an hour down like the dark highway of Route 9 or over 95.
Yeah.
Sucky commute.
Yeah.
And so people would come, and just to get the gig and make some extra money, but they would never stay because it wasn't worth.
So it wasn't like a community, is what you're saying, kind of.
It was, and also very, it wasn't a full-time gig.
Right.
And it was barely part-time, and at the time, like the pay is increased, but, it's still not, as far as seeking out a good paying job, it's not one of them.
Yeah.
So very few people ended up coming to this particular audition, which is great because then there's less competition. But I actually tied with somebody.
Oh boy.
And they couldn't decide based on the audition process. So what they had us do was trade off. So I would play some of the concerts as principal, and so would the other guy. And they, after the first concert we each played, they knew who they were going to pick.
Oh, wow. Just based on how it came across.
How we did as sitting in the position. So
this is an orchestra version of Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's time. It's time. Let's do this. Yeah. Take your best shot, punk.
Right.
And you got the gig.
I got the gig.
What, do you know why particularly?
I was a stronger leader.
Okay.
I already had experience, even if it was in high school. I still had experience. I knew what was expected of me. I knew what I had to be able to do sitting there.
So you were ready to be a leader.
Yeah.
You were ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just trying to think. So that was your time.
Yeah.
And how
that
long?
Was 2000.
Okay. And you were that for how long?
From 2000 until I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until I resigned.
Right. Is it still going without you?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just some other creep.
Yes. They got somebody else.
Yeah.
Never be able to fill my shoes.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But they got somebody else. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there to take take over when you leave.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's just so rare because like
I know, you think like
No, I wouldn't know.
when I would, be like, oh God, I can't miss rehearsal. What are they going to do without me? You know what? They do fine.
Yeah, right. I guess
They did fine. They would do fine if I had to be late or
Yeah.
miss or
Yeah.
even miss a whole run.
Yeah, or show up. Drunk or
Somebody
whatever.
else, right?
Imagine.
Somebody else would sit there and it would be fine. Like I knew I was replaceable. I'm not the
Yeah.
only one that can do the job.
Right. They didn't invent the position for you. You were
Right.
filling the
And
position.
so but I was there for what 20 years
Wow.
because it was 2020.
Well,
So that
that's
was
long
great.
enough to be doing something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I had a great, relationship with the other principals and the conductor, and,
Yep.
it was great.
Were they devastated when you were like, I'm out? Or was it just kind of like,
Well, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah,
because
right.
I never, I didn't see them in person when I resigned.
oh,
You
wow,
know,
that's right.
That no
Sure.
one had even gone back, really.
Wow.
I kind of decided to resign before all of that had been
Do you do
decided.
like the ex Facebook creep? Do you check up and see how they're doing? And
Oh, I'm always watching
Okay.
them. Oh, yeah, I like to see what's happening. Yeah.
do you? Yeah, it would have been better if I.
Everywhere I played that I resigned from, I have tickets for life.
Oh, okay.
I can go back anytime for free.
Oh, hey, well, that's
So-
cool.
And I might,
Yeah.
because it's interesting being an audience member.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't like it, but
So you weren't an audience member much when you were doing it.
no,
How would that have changed? I wonder if you were an audience member more often.
I couldn't. I was always on the other side.
True.
I was always on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to do when I wasn't was be in the hall.
Yeah, right. Right.
But yeah, I was playing all the shows.
Wow. I was just thinking like a joke, like you check up, like do the X checkup, and you look at your old orchestra and go, oh, the orchestra gained weight. Yeah, silly.
Yeah. No, I wish them all the best,
Yeah,
the show
sure.
must go on.
Yeah.
And at first I would see stuff, activity, and I'd be like, oh,
Yeah, sure.
I'm so sad. And then I'd be like, but actually,
You thinking
You know what,
of Route
being
9 and you
yeah,
know.
being at that concert would have meant this, this, and this.
I know.
And it's like, you know what? I'm really glad I'm not there.
I know. I kind of semi-retired too. And sometimes you go, and I'm just like, really?
Right. What would it take to be there? And then I'm fine. And then I'm like, yeah, I made the right choice.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I guess there's a time.
Yeah.
There's a time. Yeah. That's interesting.
And there's so much more that I can be doing in music. It doesn't have to be
Oh, really?
orchestra. Oh, sure, like the weddings, like
Yeah, sure.
teaching.
Sure.
I haven't been a teacher in, more than 20 years.
Mm.
I did a bunch of years after grad school, and
How do you like it?
now I enjoy it now because I have like 6 students.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I first started, it was like I crammed every
Sure.
moment I could
Sure.
because I needed to make the money.
Sure.
And I had a lot of kids that didn't want to be there, which made me not want to be there.
Sure.
It was just like I burned out on it at that level. But I have a couple of kids that come to my house, and they're adorable. And then I go to the academy, and those kids are great. They have some facility. Like it's not like teaching a beginner.
Right.
I can teach them actual musical concepts
Yeah.
and technical, push them to do some technical concepts. And, it challenges me. Like I said about the Mozart violin concerto, like I've never played it. I can play it,
Right.
but I've never studied it,
Sure,
so it's
sure,
like I
sure.
have nothing to pass down.
Yeah, right. Right.
That's why I had to go check out Hilary Hahn and get bowings from her,
Yeah,
on
right.
YouTube, because I don't know. It's like it's written this way, but I mean,
Yeah. How is it actually?
edited bowings aren't necessarily the thing.
Yeah.
And, I watched a bunch of people play that, and they all, there was like a consensus for 2 ways. It's like it starts off with this down bow thing. Well, I saw a couple other people going up bow, down bow.
Wow.
Like, oh, so there's a choice.
Wow.
It's not like written in stone that it has
Yeah.
to be this
Yeah.
way. So,
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's teaching me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that.
I like to learn. So.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Yep.
All right, here's a weird question because I thought of it. So, when you're the principal and you're in charge of Boeing, you said, what if you're doing a work around Boeing because of you? Like you were saying, sometimes. Like, what do you do?
Well, no, I do work around fingerings.
Oh, okay.
And string crossings, which doesn't necessarily have to change the bowing.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah.
Never mind. Okay, so the Boeing. So you just want to make sure that everybody, it's down, up, whatever.
We all have to do, to get that unified sound, you're supposed to be playing the same direction.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever that is.
How, well, I guess, like you say, it's binary, so if somebody does an up where there's a down, like, you just have to kind of get it together. Like, it's like this. Like you say, the first note might be an up or a down.
Yeah. And I mean, by the concert, everybody's doing the right bowings.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So you just kind of fall in.
Yeah, everybody figures it. Everybody gets it, and so that's not a problem.
That's cool. So you don't have to unload.
I don't have to crack the whip.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, some people will complain about the bowings.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
For me, it's like, I'm always just trying to be logical about things.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're not, you haven't done it this way, but like it's easier this way. I'm all about ease.
Sure. I know what you mean.
We're not violins. And you can't do the same thing with bowings and stuff like that on a viola that you do violin because it doesn't respond the same way.
Say that again. I understand what you mean.
You can't do this. You can't always do the same bowings with violins because the instrument doesn't respond the same way.
Okay.
So they can do all these, fancy things, but it might not work for us.
Right.
So we just do our own thing.
I gotcha.
We do what works for us.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so the viola, just like a more practical, more mechanical.
It's a heavier, it's heavier. It's slower.
Yeah.
In response. And yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Wow. We're getting close, which is weird because we didn't talk about your entire life history, but I mean, can you tell me your life history briefly?
My life history?
Yeah. That you think that anything would matter? Where did all this happen? How did you end up where you are?
Well, I grew up outside of Erie, PA.
Okay.
I went to West Virginia University for 4 years, and I came up to UConn for 2 years, and then I just started gigging and teaching.
Okay.
And then
Is that where you met what's his face at UConn?
I met Jay at UConn.
Yeah.
Yep, we were friends.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because we were friends, and he and I were both talking about. I'm like, I really need to live somewhere central. Oh, me too. So we became roommates, and then we got married.
Oh wow.
In '99.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
And then we had kids in 2006 and 2007.
Mm-hmm. That I remember.
And here we are.
Yep, here we are. Far out.
He really wants me to tell you about my time playing at the casino.
Hit it.
He's like, make sure you cover that.
Yeah.
Because that was actually a big part of my my freelance. You can't just play orchestra gigs. I played a lot of pickup gigs for churches.
Oh, really?
Community choirs.
Yeah.
They hire a little thing. Easter services, Christmas services, all that stuff. And then, you get on the list, and I started getting called for the casino with national acts coming through.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I got to play with
it's like a union thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was New London local down there.
Yeah.
I think it's also shared with Rhode Island as well now.
Sure.
That's also evolved. But I would play all these gigs for, some people you'd never know, but also people like I played with Tony Orlando and Donna Summer
Whoa.
and ELO
Oh, wow.
and
That's fine.
Pavarotti,
Okay.
Perlman,
Wow.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Whoa.
Yeah, I met Verdine.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
And went on tour with Bocelli.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
That was a cool experience.
Yeah, I bet.
I really didn't like, it's not something I would want to continue doing.
What, just being on the road like that?
Some of the travel arrangements were terrible.
For how long?
It was like over 2 weeks, and we went to like Florida, Toronto. I got to play in like Madison Square Garden, all these huge places. Vegas. We were at Mandalay Bay, and in the front row of a lot of these concerts were some like heavy hitter celebrities.
Yeah.
Like Elizabeth Taylor was in the audience one night.
Whoa.
Steven Van Zandt.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could stop at Elizabeth Taylor. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty
So it was pretty crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't great money, and it was interesting to go to some of those. Definitely awesome to play in those venues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for somebody like him.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
sure.
he was doing this opera aria kind of concert, but he would end with the pop song that he's famous for, Cante Partire.
Yeah.
And, it's got a pretty telltale opening. As soon as people heard that,
Yeah, they would freak out.
you could just hear from way back, like the sound would just be like
Right.
rush forward, and it would hit you like hard.
Yeah,
You'd be
and
like,
you're
oh
just
my
trying
God,
to hang on. Yeah.
they love this guy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much like that group, that was pretty cool.
And you have to be cool. You have to be like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, no, you could. I mean, we were all like, "Wow, this is cool,"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you do have to keep playing.
Wow.
So, but yeah, that was cool. So yeah, I mean, I got to play with some pretty cool people, really good charts.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, but
Well,
like the Earth, Wind, and Fire charts were awesome.
really?
They were really great.
Who
Yeah.
writes them?
I have no idea,
Wow.
but they were fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you rehearse with them a lot, or
It's usually
Like,
one
boom.
rehearsal.
wow?
Yep.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Is there a conductor?
Yeah.
Earth, Wind, and
They
Fire.
have a music director
Okay.
that, especially if you've got, it's a chamber orchestra.
Okay.
But
What songs do you remember?
all the September.
Really?
And, oh yeah,
Wow.
all the hits.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's their thing. We want a chamber.
Did they mic you all the time, or did you?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Mic'd up.
Sometimes it was hanging mics. Sometimes it was individual mics.
That's cool.
But
That's pretty wild.
yeah.
Yeah. Good thing they built casinos. Can you imagine back in the day? You wouldn't have those experiences.
It's
You know what I mean?
true. Like it was.
Yeah.
That was definitely a highlight. Was being able to do all of that. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you can say you did it,
Yeah.
Play Madison Square Garden. What else
Yeah.
beyond that? Yeah. Wow. That's wild. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Imagine that. Verdine. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about briefly before I ask my wrap-up questions? No?
Not that I could.
That's
think
it? You're good?
Sure. I mean, we talked a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know what else. What else I say?
Well, here's what else. You
Well,
ready?
here's what I will say
Okay,
is
what?
how we met
Oh, how? I don't remember.
playing in a band.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So,
Generally.
yeah, I
definitely.
mean, I got to play in rock bands.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. If that's what you could call it, whatever it was. Whatever it was, yeah, we had our moments. I don't think the moments are over.
I don't either.
No, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tom last night. We'll figure it out. Something
Oh,
will
good.
happen. Something will happen. Figure it out. We played recently, me, Barb, Jay and everybody's been on the show. Tom and Frank, Tom Izzo, and Frank. We played Revolver by the Beatles, the entire album, for like a little private little soiree as an experiment. It's pretty cool.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that'll happen again. We'll
Yeah.
figure that out. Desert Island albums, a few that you would take.
Oh,
with
I
you.
can pick more than one?
Yeah.
Definitely Led Zeppelin.
Okay. Which one?
Any of them.
Any of them. Okay.
Any of them.
Okay.
I'd have to take some classical, like Tchaikovsky 4,
Okay.
Shostakovich 5.
Okay. Led Zeppelin 4. No, whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
In Through the Outdoor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Led Zeppelin for sure. Maybe some Soundgarden or Alice in Chains
Nice. Okay, that's cool.
would work.
And that'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would keep me pretty happy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Desert Island food.
I'm gonna have to go with vegan paella.
Oh, hey, like the other day. The other night.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. We had paella. Are you vegan?
No.
You're not vegan, but you like vegan paella.
Well, that's what
That
he
was
said
good.
it was. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So
And
that
maybe some dark chocolate.
right. Now, did you ever have that paella before then?
No.
You decided that day, this is it. This is my jam right here.
It's great. It's got everything you could possibly need.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Can you think of a show or a concert that you saw, one show by an artist that changed your whole trajectory, that blew your mind? Can you
Like
think?
that I attended?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the same, like rock and roll idiots that like me that we have on. Oh man, I saw, like, is there something that you can think of that made it all make sense?
I haven't been able to go to a lot of concerts because I'm always working.
Right.
But some that I saw Prince in Philadelphia or something like that, and that show blew me away.
What year?
Well, it was pre-kids,
Okay.
so it would have been like maybe early 2000s.
Okay.
And it was like it was just like an X was the stage.
Yeah.
And the band members were,
Yeah.
it was like a theater in the round.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, right?
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him twice. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Really amazing.
Yeah, you can't even.
Although, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I did go to Lollapalooza one year and got to see Primus, and I was in the mosh pit for Primus.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a little scary sometimes, but it was amazing because I would like Les Claypool was like
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Me to You,
Yeah.
and who else was there? Fishbone was there.
Yeah.
There's some crazy bands there that day.
Yeah.
That was hella fun.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I never went to a Lollapalooza.
Very memorable.
Far out.
Yeah.
Far out. All right, cool. Well, you know what? We made it. You made it. It happened.
Yay,
It
we
actually
did it.
occurred. No, that was cool. That's interesting. I learned a lot, which is good. I always say I like when I don't know the answers, because sometimes I have people on, I know the whole story and I have to act interested. I actually was interested because I didn't know a lot of this, which is good. It's a good thing.
Cool.
That's what we want to do,
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. I'm going to press the exit button. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm sure we'll do something one of these days. Something will happen.
Oh, yeah.
It usually does. All right. I'm going to press the button. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Hey. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over to Bridge, go 1-3 satellites, pull a U-turn. Park in front of the music store with the red neon light. Like and subscribe. I think we got one more show before Christmas. What? I don't know. Dave's trying to tell me something. I don't know what he's saying. But like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Be on the show with me. Have your own show. We have merch. Hey, for Christmas, we have merch, mugs and shirts and hats and stuff. It would be good for you to buy some and give them to your people for Christmas, right? All right, cool. That's enough. I've said enough. All right. Dave. Yeah, okay. All right. Hey, thanks. Drive safe. Thank you, Barb. I appreciate it.
you.
We'll see you next time. Adios. Drive safe, kids. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.